Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Shattered Realities. Once again, I am your host, Jay Warner. I know it's been a few weeks since I've posted. This is sort of the end of the year period for me where I'm trying to get caught up on everything. So things have been a little hectic here in my life. Had to get a new furnace installed, had a little plumbing problem, sick kids to deal with. So, yeah, things have been a little busy here lately. And just in case you're wondering, I haven't completely given up on the hygiene issue. During the winter months between Halloween and my birthday in March, I don't shave. So, this is just about a week's worth of manliness here on my face. So if it looks a little homeless, that's no worries. I'm still gainfully employed and practicing hygiene. And anyway, in the past few weeks, my NDE video, my near-death experience, I got presently about 1,300 views on that, which is very, very surprising. I never thought that, I did this mainly as like a way to reach out to some of my friends and people who think, along the same type of lines that I do. I never thought that I would start to get this much attention, and just a lot of comments, mostly positive, a few negative. And I just want to say thank you all, and my fellow YouTubers who have reached out to me and offered help. I know my videos are pretty low quality. I can use some bumper music, which I'm working on, and an intro and some art, and spruce things up a little bit. Is this really ain't much of a selling point, but I am working on that. I just want to let you know that the videos will improve, things will get better, and thank you all for your comments. I may not be a Christian person, but it seems like the Christian community really reached out to me and tried to help, and most of those people were very, very positive, and hey, I thank you. I might not believe what you believe, but if that's where your heart is and where your soul sits, and that makes you happy, then go for it, man. Most of the people I know who are Christians and follow the Christian path are great, beautiful people, and nothing but thanks and nothing but respect for you. I do appreciate everything. I even had people from the Islamic community reach out and show me some parallels about how my NDE related to some of the things in the hadiths. And, I want to thank you too, sir. I don't have your name written down. I'm pretty bad with pronunciations, but I just want to thank you all. I truly do appreciate it. And Laszlo and Kara and Michael, Willow, several of the other YouTubers that have came forward and talked to me, and gave me advice on my channel, and I really do appreciate, and I love all you guys. I just want to say that. Okay, well, now what we're going to start getting to is I'm calling this life in the age of negativity. Okay. Now, I want to be the first one to state, and most of the people who are going to watch this video who have known me for years are going to say, what the fuck are you talking about? I can remember a few years ago, you posting all kinds of crazy shit. Self-depreciating type things. And a lot of times I do post self-depreciating things, but I do it as a way to humor. I'm a humble person. I'm not an arrogant person. I may come off as such sometimes. We all have our strong points and our weak points, but I can point out both of my own. And I do use it as humor, but that's not, covering up. That's not attention seeking. That's just me actually trying to be funny. I can't be a funny person. I released a video here a few months ago and only got probably 50 or 60 views. It was called my weekly positive message, where I was just basically being obnoxious and trying to be sarcastic, because a lot of people told me that I seem negative, and I really don't think that I'm a negative person. I try to stay positive, and Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. A few years ago, I went through probably one of the most mentally and physically challenging times in my life. I was in just literally the worst relationship of my life. I ended up with a bleeding ulcer. I had a mild heart attack. I ended up with pneumonia, all within a 2 or 3 month period of this relationship, and it was terrible. And time after time, I post just the most negative, sad, depressing shit online, and I go back and I look at it now, and I'm just like, wow, why did anybody even continue to talk to my ass, And that's the point. I mean, you get out of life what you put into it. So if you put nothing but negative energy out there online or in real life, or you bitch and you complain all the time, you're gonna have a bad life. I mean, you manifest in yourself. You create a negative atmosphere for yourself. And the main thing here is social media. Okay, people think of social media as just hey, it's nothing. It's just a computer. But if you watch Joe Rogan's video with Elon Musk, he even explained it in a way to where the computer human interface has become part of our lives. It has actually become a third part of our being, where you have your subconscious mind. That's where your soul resides, where you can learn about your past lives, your Akashic records, so to speak, that type of thing. Then you have who you are as a person. That's your conscious effort. But then there's also this third media entity, this social media being that we've all created, and this is actually, at this point in time, became a third part of the trinity of our consciousness. So if you think that when you post negative or shitty things all the time, that's not going to reflect on your life, it really is. It's going to come back. It's the law of karma. It's going to bounce back on you. And I learned this the hard way. I mean, I went through some problems, yes, and probably because of the negative person that I had in my life, that was part of it. But no, a lot of it was my own fault. It was the negativity that I was putting out there. It was all the sad, depressing, shitty posts that I was saying. And I mean, you can go back to the early years before social media and the way things worked in the world. If you wanted to meet somebody, you met people by happenstance. Like you'd be walking down the street and somebody would stop and talk to you in a car. You would meet somebody in a supermarket, the mall. Back when I was a teenager, we used to mall crawl. And I met a lot of, females and women that I was in a relationship there. I met people at arcades. But it was never just meeting people on social media. Social media was not the way to go. I mean, granted, there was social media. It existed. There was MySpace. And, I actually met a few of the women that I talked to off MySpace. But there was human communication. Back in those days, even though they had MySpace and AOL Messenger, if anybody's old enough to remember that besides me, we still actually called each other on the phones. It wasn't just, we didn't just text each other or Facebook message each other. There was human communication, okay? And a lot of times I don't post as much or put as much on my Instagram or my Twitter or that. I have them, but I don't use them exclusively as a social conduit. I actually physically try to communicate with people and talk to people when I can. I mean, a lot of the people that I'm associated with, I live here in Big Timber, Montana, in the middle of nowhere, where no one ever comes to visit. But I still call people on the phone. I still like to communicate with people live and, hear a voice. see a smiling face once in a while. That's a lot better than anything you could receive in a message or through a text. So, back in the early days, that's what we did. But, people on social media do this, but they want to share their entire lives on social media. And in my opinion, that's a mistake. Some things are personal. Some things need to be kept within your conscious and your subconscious self, not to become that. When you put everything out there, you're opening yourself up to other people's negativity, other people's bad opinions, other people's shitty advice. You just really, certain things you need to keep to yourself. Yeah, I'm looking over here at my notes. Sorry, I just don't want to make sure I skip anything. But it seems like more and more bad things are happening in the world. We have bad weather things. In Ireland the other day, there was a bunch of people seeing UFOs. We have riots. We have protests. I mean, it is a scary time. And I think that a lot of it has to do with this beast that we've created by putting out negative energy online. And granted, yeah, I'm not any kind of hippie guru flying around on a unicorn vomiting rainbows on your head. I'm not. I am a human being. I'm nothing special. I have negative emotions and feelings just like everybody else. But I try to maintain positivity. And in this past couple years, since I went through that horrible relationship and that horrible time in my life, I found different ways to help combat the negativity in my life, and I actually do feel a lot better. I mean, I wake up and I have a sunny outlook. I mean, it's not always positive, but for the most part it is. I've learned how to calm myself down and center my she's. You open up your chakras, you just become a new person when you try to get away from the negativity. So that's what I'm going to do. Before I babble on relentlessly, I'll get to the points. But, okay. Now, one thing that I have sort of ventured away from is, like, politics. I do still tend to talk about them. I still have many opinions, some right-leaning, some left-leaning, but I don't make anything exclusively about politics. Okay, so when you delve into the whole political arena, that's where things get real negative, where people get real nasty. And I'm not saying don't have your opinion, have your opinion. But why do you need to have your opinion on, say, Instagram or Facebook? I mean, you could easily go to a Reddit room that talks about those specific things, and still you're going to open yourself up to negativity, but it's the world we live in, unfortunately. But one thing that I've noticed a lot lately, especially when it comes to politics and this whole right versus left, dynamic, is these news outlets. I mean, there's CNN, Fox, CBS, NBC. I could go on and on. Breitbart even. What they do is they tend to put things into the prospect of one side of the political arena or the other. There's really not a lot of bipartisanship. There's a few, yeah. You have people like, who are kind of centrists, sort of Joe Rogan. He's more leftist, but then you have people like Stefan Molyneux. You do have people out there who are open-minded to ideas and suggestions, and not just partisanship. Not everybody's a Alex Jones right-winger or a Michael Moore left-winger. Who they're both fat, irritating individuals. But hey, we're keeping it positive, so we're not going to talk about that fat bastard Michael Moore. We'll just leave that for another episode. Anyway, so when you see a news report about, say, immigrants being put into concentration camps, before you comment on that and you throw your negative energy into the collective, you need to research things a little bit. You need to look at it from several different sources, find out if it's true or if it's accurate. And a lot of times, especially with the anti-Trump people, they just nonstop all day long, they find whatever negative thing they can find about Donald Trump and they post it nonstop. This is their entire Facebook page. And I have a lot of friends that are like that, and a lot of friends who definitely are anti-Trump, and that's their opinion. I don't have a problem with it. As far as me personally goes, there's things that I like about Donald Trump and things that I don't like about Donald Trump, just like every other president that we've had. I'm not a flag-waving, mega hat-wearing guy. I'm not a crazy piss-throwing leftist either. I mean, we have to come to a middle ground here as people, especially in America, where we're so divided on this. It's ridiculous. We need to work on coming together and on our positivity. So my advice to you when it comes to the news, the quote-unquote trusted news media, is to research the things that they say before you post about them. Find out if they're true or if they're accurate. Get the spin from the left side and the right side. Get it from both sides. Usually the truth lies somewhere in the middle. It's neither one way or the other. But, when you see a meme or a post online, it might resonate with you and resonate with your feelings of utter hatred and contempt for either the left wing or the right wing, but that doesn't mean it's accurate. That doesn't mean that it's right. And some of these things are just downright lies and slander, and by posting them, you're creating a false paradigm. Everybody likes to scream and complain about the fake news, and then 5 minutes later, they're posting something about Michelle Obama having a dick or about Donald Trump being a rapist. I mean, you just really need to think about things before you post them. You need to get a better perspective on things before you comment on things politically. And then you need to do that in a proper forum. I'm sure your grandmother doesn't want to hear about how you believe that, Michelle Obama is a man. They don't care. They want to see your cookie recipes. They want to see your smiling face. They want to see pictures of your dog. They want to see that. They don't want to hear about how the Zionist media is ruining the country. And so let's, put things in a perspective, put things where they are. Don't put a lot of negativity, don't put a lot of false info out there in the world, because you're creating a bad paradigm. You're adding to the problem by doing this. Sorry, I'm a thirsty bastard. I do drink a lot. That Rockstar Energy, not alcohol. Stay away from the devil's brew. Anyway, so memes, fake news, try to avoid these things. Try not to, if you see one that's funny or humorous that's going to catch a laugh, that's cool. But if it's something that's politically motivated or slanderous in any way, you're putting more negativity back out into the world, and that is ultimately going to bounce back on yourself. It's going to come back on you, and it's going to have an effect on your life, an adversity on your health, on your mental state, everything else. Don't create a beast that you can't control. Okay, and another thing here that I see a lot about, and this is something that I have been absolutely guilty of, and I learned my lesson the hard way, is when you're in a relationship, posting about that relationship constantly. Okay, so this is a few things that I've noticed. People who post positively about how wonderful and happy they are in their relationship, most of the time they're trying to cover up from the fact that there's problems by creating this false paradigm on their social media, talking about how great, how wonderful everything is, and then 4 months later you find out it was a disastrous relationship. And I did the same thing. And the same thing's true too when you're having problems in your relationship, posting every single negative feeling or aspect of it there. You're just gonna, number one, your spouse, your significant other is gonna eventually see that, and that's you're creating more problems. You're creating more division. That's why, since that bad relationship I was in a couple years ago, I'm not like a serial dater. I haven't been in any serious relationships, but I've dated people on and off, but I don't put it out there. It's my personal relationship is mine. That's like if you're a Christian, your relationship should be with God. If I'm in a relationship with Susan, which I don't know anybody named Susan that I'm in a relationship with, I'm using that as a name, I'm not going to put that out there. I'm not going to post pictures of me with Susan or pictures of Susan constantly and change my status to in a relationship and put it out there, because you're asking for those negative forces to come in and cause havoc. Or if, say, me and Susan have a big falling out, I find out Susan, previous to our relationship, was posting pictures of her boobs to guys in a Palladian's room. I'm just using that as an example, but and I get upset. I'm not going to go online and post that or not post that or throw out that kind of negativity, because that's not going to fix your relationship. All that's going to do is get the vultures and the many other unhappy people online sending you messages. Oh yeah, you deserve better, blah 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 blah. Well, that might be the case, and some of them are trying to be helpful, but some of them also have alternative motives, especially when it comes to men. If you women haven't figured this shit out yet, whether you post that you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, you're going to be a target. Men are generally predatory. They seek out to mate. I mean, it's our DNA makeup. That's what we do. And I'm not saying that that's right or that's proper. Some of us have enough intellect to try to build relationships or be a decent person and not be that predatory. We can control that, but a lot of men don't, and they don't try to. So they're going to tell you what you want to hear, but that's also, it's crap. They're trying to get what they want. They're trying to make conquest of you. Okay, and the same thing with when it comes to, once again, politics. The right or the left trying to conquest you to make you look bad, to make you look wrong, so that they can prove their point. And that's just, it's just not something that you want to do. You don't want to put your relationship out there. That's something that you want to keep to yourself. If you're angry at your brother, don't put down that your brother's an asshole online for everybody to see. Keep it to yourself and resolve your problems in a grown-up manner. Don't put it out there in the universe. What you put out, you get back. So if you put that out, eventually that's going to come back to you. Might be 2 years from now. You're going to have some bounce back. I do completely believe in karma, and I've had a lot of bad karma myself. So I'm talking from experience. I'm telling you from mistakes that I've made that I've learned to correct in my life, and now my life's starting to move in a positive direction. Might be moving at a snail's pace, but hey, I don't have any complaints. I don't have any pain. I don't have any sorrow. I don't have anything bad going on for me right now. So that's a step. One day at a time, people, one day at a time. Now, also, a lot of times, especially with the truther movement and things like that, people put out scare tactics. There's always some sort of apocalyptic event that's coming, and everybody posts about this. Or there's scare tactics on both sides when it comes to this immigrant caravan that's coming through. The right wing claims that there's a bunch of murderers and that there's a bunch of rapists in this caravan. And the left wing claims that they're all innocent women and children, which both are probably somewhat true and somewhat bullshit. But, the left believes that Donald Trump's going to either gun them down at the border or put them in a concentration camps. And the right believes that they're just going to swarm over the walls and be given millions and millions of dollars in welfare and resources and infiltrate our country, which both sides of this are scare tactics, especially with the midterm elections coming up. People are trying to create negative paradigms for the right or the left, and what it is it's just making people clash, bump heads. It's really, you know what I mean. And once again, that falls in with the false news and just the bullshit and the propaganda that's being stated about this and many other things. And these religious folks who are constantly giving apocalyptic predictions, saying that the world's going to end, or the people who talk about Nibiru coming and destroying our planet, or the poles shifting, or when you see these things, take them with a grain of salt, number one. And number two, don't repost this, especially if it's something that somebody says that they had a dream about, or somebody claims to be a prophet for, or claims to have talked to their spirit guide or some other invisible entity or non-provable source. By posting these, you can actually create negativity in the world. Like I said about the UFOs, well, there's a whole lot of negativity going on in the UK right now with the whole Brexit argument and the immigration issues, the terrorism, just the horrible conditions that a lot of people have to live in the UK. So you have that negative energy out there already, and then all of a sudden these UFOs start to appear. And if you want to know a little bit more about it or have it explained more how this works, how we manifest demons and how we manifest aliens or something, I definitely would suggest you watching Thomas Sheridan's videos. He has two channels, Thomas Sheridan and Open Occult Source TV. Definitely he can explain it a lot more eloquently than I can. But yeah, definitely look into that and see, because you do create things. Like after we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, then all of a sudden we started seeing aliens. You create a negative paradigm. You create an apocalyptic world. And by putting that negative energy out there, you can, in fact, create your own hell on earth. So think about it. Don't just repost every little scary thing that you see. That's just not always a good thing. And like I said, and I don't need to pound this point in, but the media is biased to one side or the other. But the media absolutely keeps us divided as people, not just in this country. I'm talking about in Europe. I'm talking about the Middle East. I'm talking about everywhere in the world. The media is not your friends. They're not here to report things to you and inform you. They are here to inform an opinion or form an opinion in your mind to get you to this side or that side. The media is no longer your friends. Anybody who thinks that the mainstream media is accurate or that they're your friends or that they have your best interest in mind, I feel bad for you. Don't walk out in front of a bus. Don't forget to wear pants when you leave the house because you might want to get some help. All right, see, here I am being negative, but seriously, people, the media is biased. Even some of the alternative media is absolutely biased to one side or the other, and they do have their reasons. And when, like I said, once again, you repost and post these things that the media says, or these media pages, or you freak out or fight with people on these media pages, you're adding to the problem. Okay, we need to come together as a people, as humanity. We don't need to keep letting people lead us into division. It's like the kid in the back of the classroom who spits a spitball, pops George in the back of the head. Then when George turns around to look, he points over at you. And you fall asleep and throws a wad of paper. You get mad and you look over at George. You guys are eyeballing each other. And meanwhile, this little asshole over here in the corner is the one who started the whole fight. And he's feeding off of that shit. He's loving it. He's loving seeing the violence and the chaos and creating it. Like I said, chaos can be a beautiful thing. I do practice and have practiced chaos magic myself, but it's for a reason. But when you live your entire life in this and you let the media and these news organizations lead your thought, that's a problem. That's a problem. Once again, feeding the beast. And then we have the other thing that divides us as people. And I keep going to say, religion's a good thing for you. Now, Christians believe in helping other people. They believe in salvation, being with one person, living a good life, a clean life, and same thing with Jews who have a very strict diet and who eat better, and Muslims to a certain extent too, and who don't believe in drinking. And these are all great and positive things. These are positive changes that you make on yourself, in your spirituality. Your relationship with Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah should be yours. That's a personal thing. Don't use it as a spear. Okay, you got to get that image of Saint Michael with the flaming sword out of your mind, to where you have to reform people, or you have to personally stop evil. Like you're the appointed one for your religion, and you have to stop this, and you have to fight with other people. You have to destroy and devastate other religions in the name of your own. There's nothing holy about that. And if there is a God, I don't think that that's what he wants. If he created us all, why would he want us all to be fighting each other? So use your religion as a personal gift to you, as a personal relationship between you and your deity. Don't use your religion as a spirit, or as a tactic, or as a self-righteous tool to attack other people. And like I said before, try to find a middle ground. Be bipartisan. If you don't believe in that left-wing view, or that Muslim view, or that Christian view, at least look at what they have to say before you automatically attack. Or same thing with the right. Just look at what both people have to say. And you have to watch out for things that personally try to misdirect you, where you might be happy, things seem to be positive, then all of a sudden there's some sort of big, main cataclysmic event that gets us all riled up and gets us all upset. But what it is it's misdirection. If you've ever seen the movie Nosferatu from the old black and white silent picture one, where all these people are chasing him, trying to kill him, and he goes like this. And they all stop, and they all look at his hand. He holds his hand up in the air and there's nothing there. But yet he distracted him for long enough to he could run away and get away. It's distraction, it's misdirection tactics that are used with especially with the news media to try to take your attention away from other things that you need to be paying attention to take your attention away from the real enemies, the globalists who are trying to dominate and control every aspect of your life while you're getting pissed off at Elizabeth Warren or Donald Trump. So watch out for that misdirection. Watch out for things that purposely try to mislead you away from the truth in order to add to the chaos. And like I said, and here's where I'm going to go Twilight Zone a little bit on you, but I've said it before. There are beings who are out there, higher dimensional beings, who feed off of all this negativity that you put out there into the world. These archons, demons, whatever you want to call them, whatever makes you feel comfortable saying, whether they're real or whether they're just aspects of you, but by creating that negativity and putting that negativity out into the world, you're also putting them out into the world. You're releasing the demons. You're feeding the archons. You're giving them your emotions. You're giving them the hatred. You're giving them a fucking steak dinner with lobster. Well, meanwhile, you're just eating shovels of shit yourself, and you don't even understand. You don't feed the beast. Don't feed the archons. Now, once again, I'll probably get a lot of shit about this from some of the people, and I'm not one of those hippy-dippy, tree-hugging people, but one thing that a lot of us have done is we have separated ourselves from nature. Okay? We are symbiotic with the planet. We are part of nature. We are an animal. We might be hairless monkeys, but we're still monkeys. So, swing from the trees. Not literally. Okay, don't go out and dress up like Tarzan. You'll just scare the shit out of your neighbors and have them keep their children away from you. But you can go outside at night and walk beneath the full moon. You can take your shoes off and walk barefoot on the grass and ground out some of that negative energy, which if you look this up, this is not just a witchcraft, pagan-y, hippie type thing. This is actually scientifically proven that you actually do ground your negative energies out when you walk around barefoot outside. So use nature. Go walk along a stream. Go take a hike in the woods. Leave your fucking phones at home. You don't have to stare at your phone the whole time. Leave it alone. Walk there instead of driving a car. Become part with nature. Let that come back into you. Let that cleanse away some of this negativity, some of these bad vibes that you have. It really does help and it really does work. Like I said, I'm going to be posting a couple more videos today. I do have a lot to say, and today's the first time I've actually had time to say. So I will be posting another one, and we'll get back to that here in a little while. But like I said, return to nature. Put the phone away once in a while. Don't put everything on social media. Don't believe everything you see on social media, and definitely don't believe the fucking news. Okay? This is a beautiful world we live in. You can walk outside. You could see mountains. You could see streams, green grass, even the fucking snow on the trees, the animals playing in the fields. There's beautiful things to be seen and to be held. Don't just sit in your house and stare at your phone and absorb the negativity and feed it back out into the universe. Go out and enjoy nature. Enjoy being, enjoy living with this planet. You know, we only have 70 to 80 years in this world. Let's not waste it being negativity and feeding the beast. Okay, and like I said, once again, thank you all for your comments and your support. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want. You subscribe to me, I will subscribe to you back. Let's share. Let's grow as people. Let's discontinue the negativity. And once again, thank you. And I will be back with you very soon. Goodbye.